I'm Alan, also known as McLaren 2009, and welcome back to Derail Valley. Had some technical difficulties there for a second, but it appears to be working now. Basically, my microphone just kind of like died on me. So I restarted my computer a couple of times. Quickly defragmented it, and then if that wasn't enough, I also decided to unplug and completely reset my Oculus Rift so it's detecting my microphone once again. Then I got back into the game and started getting everything back set up so that I could start moving again. And, well, here we are. So, I don't know exactly when my microphone cut out on me, but what I'm working on in this stream, I have 2 freight missions and 1 logistics mission, all going from the harbor to the military base. I have a couple cars of nuclear fuel, a couple cars of ammunition, and probably more than both of them, I also have empty flat cars, and they are all running up north to the military base. Alright, good, I can still hear me. Got a little bit worried because it kind of got messed up. I even switched which browser my chat feed is coming from. So maybe it'll work out for me. But who knows? I've got 2 DE6s, and between the 3 loads, I don't know, 100,000 tons, or 1,000 tons. We got through the hard part, or the hard part of this leg of the trip, because we had to get uphill from the harbor. But once we got around here, we started going downhill, and that was when I noticed I didn't have a microphone anymore. So I had to go through the painful process of rebooting the stream. It wasn't fun. So now we're rolling again, live again, and we're gonna see if we can make it through this stream without any more catastrophic failures. I kind of have my doubts, though. Alright, right now we're in the downhill portion. And I think we're clear all the way through the steel mill. At least I'm fairly confident that when I left the steel mill last time, I realigned all of the switches back for the main, so we should just be able to pass right through the center of it uninterrupted. And since these cars are kinda heavy, specifically the nuclear fuel and kind of the ammunition, but since those are kind of heavy, once we get up here, it's going to start getting really difficult. But it shouldn't be so bad that we need a 3rd locomotive. We should be able to do it with just 2. I did find out in the past that if you're doing multiple nuclear flask deliveries, you might want to bring 3 locomotives just to be safe. But just doing 1 and a couple boxcars of ammunition, I should be fine with just 2. But we will wait and see. I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy the scenery for a minute. I say enjoy the scenery, but playing in VR, it doesn't necessarily look the prettiest. But you don't play VR games for how they look, you play it for like the immersion of being in another world. Or at least that's what I do. Can't really speak for anybody else, but that's my opinion on it. Alright, still have OVR, still have my chat box. So far. I'm trying this new thing with keeping the chat box visible but partially transparent, so that it's like always open and hopefully out of the way. That way, if anybody decides to start talking in chat, I'll immediately know about it and not like 20 minutes after they've already left and I finally remember to check it. Looking to see if there's a way I can set up text-to-speech specifically for when I'm streaming in VR. Because when I'm doing like normal gameplay on just my monitor, I just look over at the second monitor and I can read the chat window. But in VR, I don't have a chat window. So I gotta do this ridiculous process of opening up the Streamlabs desktop application so that I can live stream. But since it doesn't have a pop-out chat window, I gotta pull up at my Twitch dashboard on my internet browser and then pop out that chat window. But I gotta turn off my VPN, because if I leave it on, I'll just be getting like constantly connected and disconnected from my own chat. So I can't keep up with anything that anyone is saying. Yeah, it's this weird process. Like, nothing about my setup is optimized for live streaming video games. But we're doing it anyway because I'm making progress, or at least I feel like I am. Let's hit the horn real quick. And let's get under 50. Alright, we're still aligned to the steel mill. So we got that going for us. Although apparently you can go 80 through the steel mill, but that just seems like such a terrible idea. But then again, clearly you cannot go 80 through the steel mill, because you go 60, 80, 50. So, petition to remove the 80 speed limit, because clearly it's wrong. least this side is aligned to pass through the steel mill. We're not even going to check to see if there's anything going up north because we're not going to be able to do it. Although last time I was here, we didn't have any of the gondolas with the iron ore. So there probably are a couple going up to the mines. Alright, so I know the next point of contention that I'm definitely going to have to deal with is going to be up here when we get to the goods factory, because the track is currently aligned to go to the goods factory, not past it. So I'm going to have to get to that switch and flip that one to go left instead of right. And then after that, everything should be aligned until we get to the Y outside of the military base. Then it's going to get a little bit weird. Mostly we're just going to have to automatically flip the switch when we roll over it, because it's going to be aligned to go straight into the military base, and then we're going to be coming from the, well, for the switch, we'll be coming from the right. Oh boy. Alright, let's not go too fast with the potentially dirty bomb we've got back here. Because we've got nuclear fuel and ammunition. Nobody cares about the flat cars, but the nuclear flasks and the ammunition, those combined make bad things. And the explosion doesn't kill you, the radioactive dust probably will. Just slower. But whenever you walk, or whenever you drive past like your waterways in the game, they all have like this weird dingy green tint to them. So I guess Derail Valley is radiated, and it's like the Chernobyl zone. Now I know that green doesn't mean radioactive, but it's kind of like the movie trope, if you will. And then, like, for me specifically, when I got out of the Marine Corps, I had a going away plaque made by my work center, except mine wasn't a plaque, it was a barrel. It was this little 10-gallon drum we used to burn things back when we still had classified material. Well, they took away our classified material and we just still had the burn barrel, so they turned it into my going away plaque. And they used like this modeling foam stuff to put like what looks like a leaking, glowing green chemical coming out of the rim of the barrel. The barrel's completely empty, but they made it look like a hazmat spill because I was the hazmat supervisor. And I always had the unique pleasure of dealing with whenever we had spills and other bad things like that. So the people in my shop decided to make that part of my going away gift when I left. Still doing good. Now I'm going to be like paranoid and double checking my desktop to make sure I'm still streaming, still hearing my microphone. And it's just generally going to be a mess. But as you can see back there, there are the nuclear flasks, the ammunition, and the flat cars. It's not an insanely long train, but it's pretty good size for Derail Valley standards. Especially going up into the mountains where the military base is. At least this map has been updated. The station maps have not. Because once upon a time, they didn't have this line here telling you how to get into the military base. So you kind of just had to go up here and hope you can find the entrance. Unless you'd already been up there. And I went up there for the first time, and I had to find it. So when I got back into playing the game, I looked at the map, and lo and behold, there's the entrance. Although it's not particularly clear because it's kind of fuzzy, so you might get the impression that there's a Y going both ways, but there isn't. There's literally just these two branches right here. And you either go straight into the military base or right up around this curve. But that's one of those things that you know it once you've done it. Alright, let's kill the throttle. And let's see if we can get this switch before we get to it. Okay, good. Alright, let's throttle up a little bit. Normally, I would try to get past the switch and then get it back lined up for the main line going through the area. But that time I didn't do that because there was like a slim chance I might actually be able to pull off the speed bonus. And much to my surprise, I actually did pull off the speed bonus. And I got like an extra $7,000 or $8,000 because I got it where it was supposed to be on time. It was only going from the goods factory to the steel mill, but all the same, I actually did get a speed bonus for like the first time in a long time. But now we're starting to get up to the hard stuff. Now what will be interesting is the last time I did this, I didn't, or just like this time, I didn't make a delivery to the goods factory, I just went past it. And when you start getting up here, it starts getting steep. So you start burning through a lot of fuel. And I was down to like an eighth of a tank of diesel in both locomotives the last time I attempted this. So let's see if we can do better since we have slightly less weight this time around. So yeah, before I found out that my microphone cut out, I was talking about how I wanted to start streaming more VR games, even though they're a little bit harder to stream, because they've got a couple extra steps. Like specifically this thing about having to have a workaround to be able to read chat in the game, and just the extra layers of stuff that I need to do. It makes it a little bit more difficult, but at the same time the VR games are a little bit more interesting because they're a little bit more involved. Like, for instance, if I muted the music in Tales of Glory, either 1 or 2, either one of those would be pretty cool to play on stream, even if it's not the most popular of things I can stream. Even though I only have it through the Oculus store, so it probably won't be the best to stream a game that's pretty cool, even though it's tiring to play it for long periods of time. I actually have played Blade and Sorcery for like hours on end. I guess realistically I've also played Gorn for hours on end, but I liked Blade and Sorcery more because, like, the weapons were realistic. Using, like, sharp, like, pointed weapons for, like, stabbing and slashing actually does something, whereas Gorn with regular settings, not any of, like, the crazy, silly stuff they put in it, just like the normal settings, you take somebody with a sword, you like try to hit somebody with a sword, and it like flexes like you're beating him with a pool noodle, and it's like the dumbest thing. And then I was like, nah, I'll just do Blade and Sorcery where I can actually like stab. Uh-oh. I think this happened last time, too. Yeah, I'm not very familiar with this end of the map. I've started coming here more often, but I still haven't come here too much. Like, I don't know the speed zones for this area yet. Not nearly as well as I know these speed zones. Alright. Making progress. And here's where it's going to start. basically we're going to start losing speed fast, so you have to brake very carefully, because if you apply too much brake going uphill, you're going to lose all of your speed and never get it back. This is the part of this journey that is rough. But the alternative would be going up this way, which I guess we could do, but we'd end up going nose first into the military base, and that's just bad, because the runaround tracks are very small, the bunker itself is a dead end. There is a turntable, but you can only turn around one locomotive at a time, and there aren't any like branching storage tracks, so I would have to reverse. No, I guess I wouldn't. It would just be difficult. I was thinking I'd have to switch around my locomotives, and instead of leading with 76, I would have to lead with 77, but that's not necessarily true. It would just be a bit of a pain, and there would be a couple extra steps involved in turning those around. Okay, clearly we started going downhill at some point. Yeah, this part I am not very familiar with, so there's probably going to be a lot of panicking and braking and just trying to keep everything contained. Should have eased off on the throttle, but instead I released it entirely. And now we're going uphill. And still slowing down. Alright, so we've got 7 nuclear flasks, 4 boxcars, and I don't know, 8 flat cars, give or take. Let's see, 7. Alright, so flat cars are not even comparable to the rest of the cargo. Because we have 10 heavy cars and 7 light cars, so yeah, it's not even comparable. But since we're kind of going to be accelerating for most of this, or not. We're going to burn a lot of fuel just in this last, like, winding section going to the military base. We're going to use a lot of diesel. There's pretty much a lot of like really sharp cliffs, so you don't want to derail up here because then things are going to get really bad really fast. I'm gonna keep being paranoid probably for the rest of the stream and double checking to make sure that my mic is still on. I think since I did like a full reset of it, in theory shouldn't cut out again. But that's probably not going to stop it. And clearly the track up here is a little bit questionable. But right up there, you can see the track on the other side of the curve that's heading up to the military base, which is in this mountain right here. Slightly uphill. But still got some weight behind us. Basically everybody who ever tries streaming, you gotta start out somewhere with like nobody watching, and you just kind of gotta get used to sounding or looking crazy and talking to yourself until people start talking to you. Alright, and there is where we're going. It's weird because that sign says we're going into a valley, but then we're slowing down. This sign says we're going into a valley, and we're still slowing down. So it's like we should be speeding up, but we're slowing down. And then we can't go into that little downhill, like, divot section, because then we're going to get out of control. And this, like, horseshoe thing right here is pretty sharp. Let's get under 30. So we don't go flying off this cliff over here. But then we got to immediately get back up onto the throttle, because otherwise we're going to come to a complete stop and start rolling backwards down the hill, and that would just not be a fun time for anybody. A little bit more. We gotta push a little harder, because this part is gonna get a little rough, or more rough than it already is. Yeah, so a little rough is an understatement. It's going to get a lot rough before it gets any better. The thing I'm kind of curious about, since they're putting in like rain and storms into Derail Valley, I wonder if they're considering doing like seasons. Like, for instance, with Railroads Online, they, during the winter months, they changed over the game world to have snow on it. So I wonder if Derail Valley, you could do something similar to that, where instead of it, where there's like a couple of months in the game where instead of rain you get snow, and basically the entire world is just painted white with snow. It would be kind of cool. But at the same time, that's probably asking for a lot. Another trivial thing that I would like to see fixed is the ability to place things on like a flat surface like this countertop here. Because like every once in a while this will kind of like vibrate and just kind of like move around. And it's another one of those things that, just like the coupling between the cars and locomotives, it's not a problem, it's just weird that it doesn't. Gotta not get back even farther. And we can get out the radio. Because right here is where the junction is. Sweet. But we gotta keep the throttle applied because this part is all uphill. However, we have to jump off. Basically, we're going to have to wait for this entire train to go past this switch so that we can back up. Or get run over by the pilot for the locomotive. That's cool. Okay, apparently it is steep. So we are down to 6. And it's only getting worse. It would be cool if stuff like this got fixed. But I can't imagine that's an urgent thing that needs to be addressed. Especially since the licenses of the things that take you to the military base are very much late game items. So in the beginning, you're pretty much... there's no reason to come here until you get to the end. Nope. Getting messed up again. And it's only 1.8% up, but it's still up. Alright, just a couple more cars. And then we got the hard part. Alright, looks like 1, 2... Is there another one, or is it just these? No, nope, it's just these. 1 car length. Alright, I can kill the throttle, put it in reverse. I will be so disappointed if it doesn't roll far enough. It didn't. The truck is still on the switch. Let me see if that works. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling at the moment. We needed 3 locomotives just to clear this part. Sad does not begin. Okay. Alright, so check this. 1.4% down, higher elevation. 1.5% down, lower elevation. So steeper grade, lower hill. Let's not run into the train, even though we've already been run over once on this trip. Although the thing that caused me to get run over is kind of like a perfect example of what I was saying about setting something on like a flat surface and then it kind of just vibrating off the side. Well, in that case, I was the thing that was vibrated off the side. But why am I... Okay, I got stuck in the concrete. Okay. Now you're not supposed to be able to reduce the application of the train brake, but we'll let it go. Alright, now around here, it's going to start flattening out. But we're not there yet. Alright, now we need logistics hall, B6S. Got a feeling there's going to be something in 6S. Don't have to worry too much because the train's gonna get here. Is it left to right or right to left? 3, 4, 6. Alright, 6S is actually empty. Oh, that's pretty handy. Going right, right. Yeah, any hope of getting a time bonus is just completely shot at this point. So we're just going to turn them in as we get them parked. Although I could just turn them in at the end and just do it all at once. But nah, we'll do it one at a time. That way I don't have all of the books on me anymore. Now I gotta be careful because there's another section in here that will cause me to lose speed like crazy. Basically between 45 minutes earlier and currently 48 minutes, give or take. This has been a very bizarre day for streaming, but it's whatever. And what do we got? Let's see. Classified biohazard and classified biohazard. So yeah, I'm sticking with my personal headcanon that we're carrying the T-Virus for the Umbrella Corporation. Crossover between Derail Valley and Resident Evil. Someone make it happen. Because I can't think of anything that would be classified and listed as a biological hazard that wasn't a bioweapon. Okay, let's go get this turned in. I don't know how it ended up there. Harbor, harbor. Yeah. Not bad. Oh boy. And $12,000. Oh, we only took twice how long it was supposed to take. It's whatever. Alright, we need the ammunition. Alright, this is going to 5. Wait, it's going to 5? That's a problem. And that's a problem because that's 5. Alright. Well, it's going to be interesting. Okay. All right. So we're going to pull these forward, but we're not going to put them on 5 yet. We're going to put them on 6. And then we're going to disconnect from the ammunition cars, back the nuclear flasks up, grab the biohazard containers, pull them forward, back them up, connect them to the ammunition cars, and then we're going to park them all on 5. And then this has got to go to 4. Well, I said it wrong. We're going to park them on 4, not 6. There's like no room on 6. Okay, clear the switch. And then the nuclear flasks have to go on 4 anyway. Alright, so plan is take the ammunition cars, shove them back past that sign so that we're not blocking the switch. Go in, hook up to the bio cars, bring them out, back them up to the ammunition cars, pull them out, and then back the ammunition and the biohazard cars back onto 5, with the biohazard cars being up front and with easy access to pull them out of the station. So we're gonna have to get a little bit creative with this one, but something I was saying actually a couple weeks back now was that I like this game because there's a lot of stuff that is kind of like a puzzle. You got to figure out how you're going to do it. And I know I'm pulling those cars out of here and going and taking them down to the harbor. So they need to be closest to the exit. Otherwise, we could just shove these in there and then just call it a day. But no, we're not doing it that way. We're going to be smart about this. It could potentially be a little bit weird because the biological cars are very, very light compared to the ammunition cars. But we're not going any particular distance. We're literally just pulling forward and backing up. So we're not worried about a string line derailment switching the cars in the yard. I just don't think that's going to happen. Although we do need to get this lined with 5. But yeah, I'm not worried about improper weight balance when the train's not going anywhere. It's not even staying attached for long. Alright, so we just gotta keep these going back nice and slow. Now, what could cause complications would be if, say, I decided before I leave with the biohazard cars, what if I unload these with the newly created shunting jobs to get these unloaded? Then this whole system would be kind of messed up. Alright, under 5. Now let's stand up here on this flat car. Is it moving? Alright, so yeah, there's going to be a bit of a workaround to get these in place. See, these are light. That's 19,000 kilograms right there. And just one of the box cars, not even including the cargo, is like 20,000. Yeah, 20,000. And then the cargo is another 31,000. So this would not be the way that you would load these if you were taking them out of here. You would not have these in the middle. All right. No. Okay. Air hose, and we're good. Run back here, make sure we got air coming out the back, so we don't have the weird thing that happened the other day. Where, like, the air hose was, like, pretending it was the brake pipe, and you had the back hose of one car connected to the front hose of a car on the complete opposite end, and it had like the hose was like double spawned. It was like the weirdest thing. I just absolutely had to make a clip of that. That was wild. I gotta be on the other side. Why am I here? I need to be here. Yeah, moving around the cars to get everything opened up to actually get ready to leave is kind of cool. Got to figure out like what's the efficient way to do everything, and it's just an interesting process to me. It's going on 4 o'clock. Alright. Press the switch, pop it in reverse, hit the train brake, hit the independent brake. And throttle up ever so slightly. Bump into these ammunition cars and get them put back on 5 where they belong. I think the first time I did something like this, the ammunition cars and the nuclear flasks both went on 4. So you just had to back them in and then disconnect them. And then I didn't even need to disconnect them because I ended up switching those cars around anyway. It's like I ended up doing the unloading jobs. That was how I found out that the loading crack back there in the bunker is ridiculously small. Like, you would not believe how small that is. Like, I was hoping that it would be kinda like the harbor, for example, where you got like that long crack where you can fit multiple trains if you try hard enough. No, you're not doing that up here. There is a very small area that you can try to use. Okay. Okay. And basically, if you try to use one more car than is on, like, say, this is 4 cars, and I want to say it's 6 cars of the flasks. 6 cars is all that will fit on there. You have to break it down and do it individually. Like, you can't do multiple at once. It's just kind of a letdown. But this is probably one of the harder industries to work on in the game. Or at least that's the way it seems to me, in a manner of speaking. Alright. Alright, so as soon as this is past here, pop it into reverse, hit the train brake, hit the independent brake, and let's get this thing parked, finally. Let's ease off the throttle. Never worked on any box cars either, but the mechanics are pretty much the same. That's probably the one thing that'll be a little bit weird about the handbrake wheel placement is just on the box cars. Because these have these hanging doors, and it looks like they're putting the brake wheel like right in the middle. And it should, just on like the box cars, it should probably be offset. So you're not blocking the door. If you were to hypothetically load the car. Alright, we just gotta get 2 cars past the sign. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I guess it really doesn't matter too much. Especially since we weren't really supposed to move those cars. How much space do we got back here? You know what, let's just push them all the way in. I only need to go back like a car length or two, but so that right there should be good. Alright, now let's disconnect these. Alright. Now we gotta disconnect these. We don't need these anymore. And once again, I'm on the wrong side. So let's go over here. Alright, and then we get onto this track right here. And then we get these backed up into 4. Which, while we're at it, let's go over here. Yeah, see, there are no, like, side tracks or anything. You just have the one track, and that's all you get. Huh? damn it. Alright. They are both going to be 4i. So basically, all of the stuff that I just did, I have to undo it. Except, luckily, it's not all that hard to undo it. I just have to go back here. Reconnect these. And I gotta pull these out. Okay. So, back up the nuclear flasks into here. Pull forward, grab onto these. Pull these out. And back them up right in front of the nuclear flasks. This happens when you do this the dumbest way possible. You know how they say measure twice and cut once? Well, this is why. If I would have properly read the book, I would have known that both this and the ammunition cars are going onto the inbound track. And to add further insult to injury, you might notice this particular sign right here. It's marking what track it is. Track B, Section B, Track 5, and then that last thing is the letter O, telling you that is an outbound track. Why, under any circumstances, would they tell me to put inbound cargo on an outbound track? It's just bad luck that the military base outside tracks and the harbor military base are both Section B. Yeah, B4I. Fantastic. So yeah, basically you want to pay attention to what you're doing, and you don't do stupid things like this. Alright, let's push these back pretty far. So we got plenty of room for the boxcars that now have to go on this track too. Alright. Let's get this mess straightened out. Okay. Yeah, we can definitely fit 4 cars in there. let's just teleport over here, because we got this switch right here. Someday we won't make these mistakes, but it is not this day. Alright. Oh yeah, we can easily fit 4 boxcars right there. Now the good news is, since we stupidly put the ammunition cars on the outbound track, but we wanted to make it so that we could still get the biohazard cars out of the station, all we got to do is just pull those forward. In fact, let's just slam on the brakes a little bit. Let's just make our lives a little bit easier, and we'll go over here, and we'll grab both of these. Those are the only jobs here. I don't think the military base is a well set up industry. Like every other industry, when you complete a job, it creates a new job at the destination. But here, when you bring in the flat cars, it hasn't populated with a shunting job where you load the flat cars. And then at least when we do it this way, we don't have to worry about backing up and putting these back in the outbound track. We'll just leave them attached. And we'll just hook up to these ones. And then we'll get set up outside of the office there. Let's not get carried away. Let's not go like 0 to 100. I say that like we're even going to get to 100, but... Especially since the light cars are in front of the heavy cars. Basically, this whole thing's just a mess. But the saving grace is that's going uphill. Alright. So it'll kind of start slowing down. Alright, now all we gotta do is just shove these ammunition cars in here. And all is right in the world, once again. So basically we did twice the work we needed to do. All because I didn't read the book. Yeah, what can you do? Live and learn. Alright, now all we gotta do is just shove these 4 boxcars in a hole, and we're good. And more than likely, we won't even have to get anywhere near the flasks down there. 1.5 car lengths. And we got plenty of space. All right. Now let's drop this. Turn those off. And we gotta go back over here. And we gotta turn in. Yeah, Harbor Military Base and Harbor Military Base. And way too long. Almost took an hour and a half longer than we were supposed to. Alright, now we need to go here and here. Cut off the train brake, pop it into reverse. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good spot for them. There's plenty of space in between the ammunition and the nuclear flasks, because that is literally the only inbound track. There's 3 outbound tracks, a storage track, and a runaround track, but only 1 inbound. I should have known that this was going to happen. Alright, yep, it's still got that going. Alright. Let's finish strong. We're almost to the end. And this is the longer of the 2, so this is actually the heavier one, because this one is only 3 cars. For a moment there, I was going forward. This game is very weird. But going 6 is still a little much for bumping into this car. And realistically, this pretty much guarantees we will not be getting a time bonus for this run down to the harbor, but we already knew that. Alright. These cars are not even remotely heavy enough for 2 locomotives. Honestly, these 2 jobs, you could do it with a DE2. But those 2 jobs, you absolutely need 2 DE6s. Especially for the crazy hill you got coming up this way. Alright, so that is our entire train. So let's go shut down the locomotives, pay our environmental fees. Well, also we're paying to service the locomotives, so let's not forget that too. Okay. Fully apply the independent. Neutral reverser. Lights are off. Kill the engine. I feel like you probably wouldn't use the emergency cutoff, but there should be a stop switch and a shutdown procedure. Alright, now, just for the sake of argument, yep, we used 3/4 of the diesel. And part of it was because of the extra switching we had to do because we stupidly put the cars in the wrong spot. But, live and learn. Alright, now let's go refuel the locomotives. Yeah, see, it has the shunting where you can unload the nuclear fuel and the ammunition, but you can't do anything with the flat cars. I mean, maybe that's kind of by design, because the only thing loaded on the flat cars is the biohazard stuff that we've got hooked up now. Oh dear God. Alright. There's nowhere to manually service. Not here. Alright. So, we are set up for our load for next stream. We've successfully brought nuclear fuel, ammunition, and a random collection of flat cars from the harbor to the military base. Had some technical difficulties with the stream. Got everything backed up into the lane that it was supposed to be in after we put them in the wrong lane first. And got hooked up to our next load for the next time I play Derail Valley. So, this has been an interesting stream. Well, this has been Derail Valley. Thank you all for watching, and have a nice day.